Hi, this is Dan for Tech Digest and Shiny Shiny, and I'm holding in my hands the Nokia N97. At last, I've had a really good chance to have a good look at it, and I tell you, it's lots of fun. The first thing you want to do as soon as you get this is start playing around with the slide out feature. There we go. It's actually a lot easier than it looked just then. You can play around with it quite a lot. It's a nice solid mechanism, as you can see down there, really kind of nice hard back to it. You're not going to screw it up. In fact, all you might screw up by doing this is the actual processor on the inside. You might confuse the phone a little bit. But actually, that's a very rare thing, as it seems to have happened so far. What I have noticed about the slide out function, funnily enough, is it appears to make it a left-handed phone. Because if you're right-handed and you try and sweep it across, it's actually quite difficult. But as a left-handed person, it's very quick. So, one little tip, if you're left-handed, the Nokia N97 might be for you. However you do it, once you've got it open, you'll notice the rather impressive QWERTY on the inside, supported by the joystick there as well. It works really quite nicely. I personally didn't use the joystick so much to navigate around. I tend to use the touchscreen functionality instead, which I found quite useful. I thought that works pretty nicely. Sometimes what you might notice when you get these menu bits here, to actually scroll down when it's a very long menu can get a bit complicated and a bit fiddly, which is quite a good reason why they've included the stylus as well, so you get a much better control. But once you've got that, you'll find that the QWERTY itself is a really speedy way of typing. It's a little odd to have the spacebar on the right hand side by your thumb, but you get into it very quickly, and as soon as you've got the hang of that, you'll be typing like a pro, which is brilliant. What I quite like about the way it works is you get the menu button here as well. Whatever screen you're on, as soon as you press that button, it will bring you back to one of two screens. Either the home screen there, or the S60 standard home screen as well. And when you're there, it'll just toggle between the two. The home screen itself is new to the S60 phones, and it's quite nice really. You've got all your widgets on the front page, and what you can do is start customizing it to your needs as well. So you edit the content there, and then you can tap on these things to remove them. There we go. And then you can add as well there. Now, either from the list they've got, or you can download one. I mean, for the sake of it, we can put an Amazon one in there, and once you're done, you can maybe move it around if you want, reposition it, and then close it down so it's locked off as well. I haven't used the widgets too much. Personally, I prefer the S60 standard way of going around things, but I can see myself getting into this as time goes by. The phone works really nicely in both dimensions, which I was quite surprised at. I thought it would be really only functional in the horizontal way, but actually closed, it's really quite nice. So if you don't want to use it as a proper smartphone all the time, you can quite happily use it just in the one hand. So that's really good, one-handed and two-handed, depends how you want to use it. Either way, when you're done with the actual using of the touchscreen so it doesn't rub up in your pocket, you've got the lock button here, which instantly, obviously, renders the touchscreen inoperable as well, or they're back on like that. So there's no kind of one key, two key thing that you might get with a normal Nokia to try and lock the phone up. That's quite a nice touch as well. Next to it you've got the micro USB port, that's how your connectivity's done. There's actually quite a nice little gizmo that comes with this. So if you don't want to charge up by micro USB, or if you've lost your charger, you plug in this adapter and you can use either of the old Nokia chargers there. I don't know if you can see that. So if you've got the big one or the little one, you can adapt it just in there, which is quite a handy thing. The jack over here for the audio is of course a 3.5mm jack, which is great, so you can plug in whatever headset you like. Plus it also works as a TV out as well, so if you want to play all sorts of video content from your phone somewhere else, then that works too. The screen itself is 3.5 inches and it plays in a 16:9 ratio, which is really good as well. So if you want to watch content in widescreen, then you've got that option. What it does, if you haven't heard as well, is you've got fantastic amounts of storage on this device. 32 gigabytes of onboard storage, which is as well, I mean already it's more than most phones, but you can then expand it with a micro SD card. At the moment 16 gigabytes is your biggest, so you can get up to 48 gigabytes of storage. Now with all that storage and all that video and all the music you might be consuming, it's a really good thing they include this massive battery in the back as well. Because so far my experience of this is it's going to last you even more than a day of heavy use, which is a really good thing. Now I've never been a massive fan of the way they build these Nokias of late, these smartphones, with a slightly flimsy back. But actually this one works quite nicely, and provided you manage to get the little hooks in place, if I get it at the right end, then it does snap back into position pretty nicely. While we're on the back, there's a really nice cover for the camera there. It's not too flimsy there, which you often get on most camera phones. It's quite a nice touch, and it's worth protecting this lens because this camera has probably got the best camera of any smartphone out there at the moment. It's a 5 megapixel camera. You've got a dual LED flash, and it's a Carl Zeiss lens as well, which is the part you really want to be looking after. It takes really good photos. As camera phones go, actually, what you always get is that terrible response time between pressing the shutter and actually getting the photo. It's not going to be perfect, but as you can see, it does the trick fairly quickly, which isn't too bad for one of these things. The video footage is okay on these as well. In dark conditions, the autofocus doesn't always catch as best it could, but you know, for a mobile phone, it's got a really decent camera on it. So you know, if you're into that, then it's a good one to go for. Other than that, there's probably only really one thing that's gonna make this phone survive, and in fact, it's you know, Nokia are really going to live and die by this as much as the N97 is, and that is the OV store. But that's such a big review that that's probably one I'm going to leave for another time.